Hi guys, welcome to my knitting and crochet podcast, where I talk to you about all the things that I've been working on throughout the week, the knitting or crochet works in progress or finished items, patterns that have caught my eye, and just anything crafty or out of the ordinary that has gone on. So the first thing I want to do is address admin before I forget, because every podcast episode we do a pattern giveaway in the comments. So I am going to leave a blank spot right here. To put in the pattern winner, and I have no clue who it is because I draw like Saturday noonish. So if you want to be entered in the next pattern giveaway, make sure that you comment before Sunday. Did I just say Saturday? I draw Sunday noonish. It's 9 in the morning, so I'm kind of still out of it. I draw Sunday around noon, so Eastern Standard Time, so just make sure that you enter before then. So congratulations to the winner, and I will be showing you guys some more patterns at the end of this podcast. I found some really cool ones. I'm not sure how many I'll show, but I did find this shawl that I thought was really pretty and a really neat idea. I'm not a big shawl person, but I really like this one, and it kind of incorporates weaving. I mean, just a little bit. You'll see what I mean whenever I show you the pattern. Okay, so this week for knitting, I have been focused on my basket weave sweater, and I've been working on this basket weave sweater as a test knit for Andrea Gaughan. I've been using Laying Yarns Regina, and I'm going to show you a skein, a ball of what the yarn looks like. This is not the color that I'm using yet. We'll get into why I have this ball in a second. So this is 50% cotton, 24% baby alpaca, 20% silk, and 6% wool. I got this from Little Knits, and it's like $35 for 5 of these. So this is a DK weight yarn, and I think that's a pretty good deal, especially when you feel this. Now let me show you what I've been working on, because this is going to be different from the last time you saw it. So I have both of the sleeves done, and I blocked this. So whenever I blocked it, somehow it feels like the yarn has gotten lighter, even lighter than it was, because this, as much as this sweater is as oversized as it is, this weighs like virtually nothing. It's so nice. So I went and blocked it, and then the neckline stretched out. So of course I waited about 5 seconds and then ripped it all out. So I have my lovely knitting needles being pulled out because I just picked up the stitches, so whenever I started showing this, the stitches fell out. I'll fix that as soon as I set it down. But what I'm thinking of doing is basically taking a smaller needle than I used, and the pattern just says to pick up an even amount of stitches. So the first thing I want to do is use a smaller needle than I did. That will hopefully mitigate some of the stretching. Then this is the yarn that I pulled out. So this is basically yarn that's been blocked. So I'm hoping using this again for the neckline will also mitigate some of the stretchiness, because I'm thinking that since it's already been blocked, that it won't stretch as much. That's my assumption. But ignoring all of that, I ordered some elastic thread, so I'll just pull some thread through the neckline just to make sure that it doesn't stretch if all else fails. But other than that, I love it, and it's so soft, and I love the color. In fact, I love this yarn so much that I went and I got this to make a second one of these, because generally when I make a sweater that's that oversized, it's a lot heavier than this and it doesn't feel as great on my back. But this one is like I said, it's really light. So I'm super excited about making that. Basically what I'll do, I'll probably finish that neckline later today. I just didn't have time to last night. That was blocking throughout the weekend, and then when I noticed last night that the neck had kind of stretched out, I'm like, okay, so I pulled out the neckline and I just didn't have time to reknit it. So after I do the neckline on that, I'm going to start again with this color. And this is, I don't even know if the color's on here, but it is basically like a medium kind of denim-y blue, like a light, not light denim, but like a medium wash. I really like it. I love this yarn. I would definitely use this yarn again. It feels like cotton without being cotton and not rough. I don't know if you can make sense of that at all, but it's super soft and the alpaca in it is not itchy. I've had problems with alpaca kind of itching my skin. What is it? I think linen quill. Does that have alpaca in it? But that also has Highland wool. Well, anyways, I've had issues with alpaca kind of itching around my neck, but this is, there's nothing itchy about it. So I was very happy to kind of stumble across that yarn. And I believe what kind of brought my attention to it was Little Knits. They were having a sale. They sent an email about it, and I just went to check it out, and I'm like, you know what, this is a perfect color for this basket weave test knit that I have, because you guys know me, I love pinks, right? So this is definitely pink. This is probably my favorite color pink right here. So that was it. It was a happy find. So that's what that is. And then you guys should see this coming soon. I'll probably cast this on this weekend, or not this weekend. I'll probably cast this on sometime by next podcast. What am I trying to say here? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. So if you've watched the podcast for a while, you've seen this pattern before, and sorry for the crinkling. I'm going to be showing you pictures in the overlay, but I still kind of like showing them here too. This is called Summer in a Box, and it is by Ewelina Murach. I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry if it isn't, but this is a very pretty pattern, and there's my tape measure. Let me show you what I've gotten so far on here. I have just this tiny bit of yarn left. So this is what it looks like so far. I have just joined everything together. So in 2 seconds, I'll be showing you what the yarn is, because honestly, I don't think I can remember. I have been looking at different types of yarn all weekend because I've been working on 3 different things. So Oh, this is Barocco Renew. So it says it's recycled and sustainable fibers. I have no idea what they mean when they say that. But it is 35% viscose, 30% wool, 30% nylon, and 5% cashmere. This is very soft. And the color's kind of like a corally peachy color. So far I've very much enjoyed working on it and working with this yarn. I'm trying to think of where I can, okay, there. Sorry, that little ball, it keeps wanting to fall, and I'm trying to think of where to put it. So this pattern has been a lot of fun. You start off, let me turn it around. You start off right here. You're going to see this long strip of knitting along the back. And you actually work that, well, not sideways, you work it this way. So you end up with this long strip and you bind it off. And then you pick up stitches along the long side. And then you start working short rows for the back. And then once that is done, you pick up for each front. Sorry, it's kind of in an awkward phase because it's just right where you split for the sleeves and join the body. So there's like only a couple of rows there. But I've been very happy with how this has turned out. I'm pretty happy with the yarn. I've got it in the back of my head that this might grow, so I'm working a size smaller than I normally would. So I'm trying to keep in mind that it will at least more than likely grow some. But the lace is super easy. Like very, very easy. So easy, no, I'm not going to say so easy I didn't put stitch markers in, because I did put stitch markers in. But so easy that if I probably didn't put stitch markers in, I think I would have been okay. So there's that. I just put it in because I just hate trying to take out lace. Oh, I love it. This is going to be a good summer top, and let's talk about how long it took to knit this. So I worked on this one afternoon, and then I think on Friday. So I worked on it for the afternoon of the 4th of July, which would be a Thursday, and then on the next Friday. And then by then I was pretty much at this point. So it works up pretty fast, especially with the lace. I'm expecting obviously the body to take longer because, you know, you need more stitches per inch for the stockinette to grow, but overall I'm expecting it to be done before summer's over, so it's exciting to have this one on the needles. I know that the second that pattern caught my eye, I had wanted to make it. So it is a very pretty one. And I like the way that you you knit the long strip, and then from the strip you kind of build your garment. So you've got the long strip, and then you pick up stitches on this, so you knit the body, or the back, and then up here you pick up a front, and then you pick up another front, and then you knit down and kind of join it all together. So the next thing that I have to talk about, actually the last thing involving my knitting that I have to talk about, is the hipster top. And I'm going to show you a picture. Sorry for the crinkling. This is what the hipster top looks like. And do you see the stitches up there? I had a lot of fun with those. This pattern is by Locatelli, and it is basically a simple striped top. And the best part about this pattern is that it is knit to where once you cast the body off, you're done. There's no finishing. So I was happy to read that. So if you watched last week, and this is going to be kind of a disaster when I pull it out, just be forewarned, and I'll show you why. It's kind of growing pains for the pattern by how it's worked up. Okay, so if you watched last week, you know that I had lost one of the yarn colors that I had wanted to use this pattern, so I ordered a different color, and that different color came. So this is the violet, and this is the ultraviolet. So these are the two colors that I'm using. And this is the cashmere base from Fiber Optic Yarns, and it's super soft, and it's an MCN. So I was super happy that these came in. But if you'll remember, I had the electric purple as well, and I was trying to figure out what to do with the electric purple. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm trying to figure out. I'll talk to you about what I'm thinking about how to use these yarns, incorporate them in a second. Let me show you what I've knit so far. I'm gonna have to untangle it. I know I am. You know what? It's actually pretty good that I'm showing it to you like this, because it kind of gives a good idea of how this is built. But first, I have to kind of wind the yarn back up. Sorry, I'm untangling. You know, have you guys ever worked on a project like this where until you get to a certain point, like strings are coming out of everything? This is one of those projects, and it's not a bad thing, it's just fiddly for a little bit. Okay, there we go. So, and naturally I drop stitches. Okay, so this is what I have so far. Kind of reminds me of Halloween. I like it. This, so what do we do? This is, I'm trying to think of, or I'm trying to, okay, so that's straight. So this is what happens. You cast on provisionally a bunch of stitches, and then you pick up and you knit this side. You bind off for the neck right here, and then you put this side, this front, on hold. So once you're done with this front, as far as you need to knit it, you basically pick up from the provisional cast on the back stitches, and now I'm knitting the back, basically the back down to where I need to knit it. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to basically mirror what I did over here on this side, over on this side. And then by that time, it should be right, like, so you'll have that side over there, and then you can kind of join under the underarms. Sorry, everything's scrunched up on this cord. I've been using smaller cords just because it's easier for me to knit with, and so I don't have to keep pushing like the stitches around and as I'm knitting them. I do love these stitches. She has a YouTube video on how to make them, and they're super easy. I thought they would be hard, but I ended up really liking them. So that was pleasant. That's the only place those stitches come into like contact anywhere. What I was thinking, so I'm thinking a lot of things. I'm always thinking a lot of things. Let's talk about the color first. Okay, so we've got the lavender here, and then I've been using the lavender, or not lavender, the violet here, and then the violet here. I'm thinking that I can put violet and ultraviolet up at the top, like right here, and then the bottom can be the electric purple and ultraviolet, so the two darker purples. That might or might not be a good idea. I guess we'll just see how it goes. Another thing that I was thinking of is down at the bottom, adding some more of these stitches, maybe just to see how it would look, because I really do like them. I think it would be kind of pretty. I wonder if you could use it instead of ribbing. What do you guys think? It's surrounded by garter stitch. I don't know. And then there's always the worry that because it's a holier stitch, getting it caught on things. But since I'm in a wheelchair, that might not be something I have to technically worry about as much as other people. Sorry, I dropped a stitch. Okay, I'll fix it later. But yeah, it's kind of, it's been kind of a pleasant knit, and I wish I was a little farther along. It's so hard to show it when it's like that, because you've got the long cord and then the other side is still in a cord. So I do love the yarn, and I'm interested to see how I can get the three colors to play along together, but I think it might just be kind of a trial and error. Okay, let me talk about what I'm wearing before I forget. This is Icy Spring by Locatelli. And this is a Mad Tash yarn, and I cannot remember what color it is, but it has something to do with the Barbie movie. But I knit this, when did I knit this? Oh no, did I knit it for the Locatelli make-along? I think I did. So it would have been like September-ish of last year. Let me move this sweater over, because I told you that there's some crinkling upcoming. I told you that I would show you whenever I got I ordered two things from Fiber Optic Yarn, and I just wanted to show the other thing that I got. This is Fiber Optic Yarns. Oh, do you see the little camera dot? Sorry. Fiber Optic Yarns, and that's the information. This is the same base, sorry for the crinkling, this is the same base that I used for the Hipster tee. This is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. Each of these skeins, there are 14 skeins in here, and they are each 70 yards. And this is the rainbow gradient. And all of the skeins are all messed up because I keep dropping the package and it keeps sliding. Let me see if that'll be a little bit better. Sorry, the presentation is not very good. I didn't want to open them yet because I don't want to open them yet. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with them. One of the patterns that I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes kind of makes me, I kind of really want to do something like that. I love the idea of using like a faded out black or like a cream color with rainbow. I don't know. Okay, so I said I didn't have any more knitting to show you, and I don't, but I'm going to talk to you for about 3 minutes about the Voyage cardigan, which I cast on last week. So I started working through the Voyage cardigan, and I got so frustrated with it, I put it in the closet and it's in timeout now. The problem that I'm having is that I need a darker pink, basically a dark pink. So if you take a look at the Voyage, it's a colorwork cardigan. The colorwork is all on the body. You have plain sleeves and plain ribbing and a plain button band. I don't know if it has buttons, but a plain ribbing down the front. So the problem that I was having with the Voyage is that I'm trying to use an Advent and all of the Advent colors are in the same tone. Is that what I mean? The same brightness, hue, one of those words. They're all beautiful colors, but they don't have a darker colors and lighter colors. They pretty much only have like lighter colors and medium to light colors. So I need some dark color. So I talked to Stephanie from Blackbird Sycamore Yarns and I asked her if she possibly had like a magenta-y, purple, pink, basically just a darker pink, because I went through all of my stash and I don't have a single dark colored pink, at least dark enough. The closest that I have like is this, and what I really need is like a like that right there. So I ordered some yarn from her, and I will revisit the Voyage cardigan whenever I get it and I have proper time for it to be in the closet and not frustrating me. So my thoughts still are that I am going to do the sleeves and the ribbing and the button band as that antique color, but for the body of the color work I will be using the dark, like a dark pink color, like one of those, like right there. Sorry for the crinkling, that one. So that's what happened to the Voyage cardigan, and that's why you're not seeing it right now, and I haven't made any progress on it. It gets frustrating when a project goes like that, but it is what it is. I've got plenty to work on. You see that I'm working on 3 different tops right now. I actually have 4 different tops. I really need to put the sleeves on and figure out what's going on with the Kylie pullover. But because this was a test knit, I had wanted to do this first. And then I kind of just fell in love with this yarn, so I wanted to make another one. Okay. So I told you what I was wearing, and now I'm going to talk to you about some patterns really quick that I found off of Ravelry. Okay, so throughout the week, I will go look at Ravelry patterns and see what's trending and see what's hot right now. And every so often, I will keep a tab open in my browser because I'm like, oh, I love that one. I really want to mention that one. And one of the first ones that caught my eye this week was this one. It's called 24 Skeins Go Crazy. So the designer is Marion Bulin. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It's done in fingering, and it looks like an amazing way to use an advent. Now, I'm going to be putting up pictures above this so you can see better. But hang on, let's show this one. What I'm trying to show you is that this is a wrap, basically a ripple wrap. And then you take strips of knitting and weave them in. And I thought that was really cool. The black and white pictures do not do it justice. It says that the design works perfectly for any yarn advent calendar, 24 mini skeins of your choice with at least 80 yards per skein, or the same amount of fingering weight yarn. You could do anything with this. So I was thinking that it'd be really neat to do the main body of this wrap in like a monotone, like black, gray, whites, almost like a black and white picture, and then make the strips that you weave in rainbow color, or vice versa. No, I don't know if vice versa would look as good, but the point is that there are so many different things you can do with this pattern. You don't have to use mini skeins. You could use scrap yarns, just pretty much anything. And it looks, yeah, the gauge is done in garter stitch. So that makes it even better because everybody knows that garter stitch is a lot more fun to knit than stockinette because there's no purling. Oh, this looks pretty big. Do they have, it says it takes between 1914 and 1969 yards. It's only available in one size. I'm trying to see if there isn't really dimensions on the finished object, but it looks really big. This could make a blanket. But it's a wrap, so you'd kind of have to, you would need to mess with the dimensions if you wanted an actual blanket. Unless, of course, you're like me and just use wraps as blankets, and then it would be okay. But I saw that one and I thought, hey, that's really cool. The price is up there. It's about $8 US and €7. €7. But I was happy that it caught my eye because normally I'm not a big shawl person. Although I will say one thing, I do appreciate wraps over shawls. I don't know if it's maybe like just I like the long rectangle shape best. But okay. So I saw this one and I've mentioned this designer before. Her name is Amelie. So this is called Cercis. Cercis? Okay, here. That's what it's called. I'm sorry for my poor pronunciation. But this top is so pretty. It is basically a top that's plain here, but the sleeves are lace. And it is knit and fingering weight wool. We've got finished bust circumference, around 35 inches to 63 inches, which is a great size range. That's what I mean. It says that it's a top-down pullover that plays with raglan construction to create a lace pattern that covers the sleeves and adorns the size of the pullover. 3 sleeve length option allows you to choose the style that fits you most. Oh, cool. So there's 3 different lengths of sleeves. I love the idea of incorporating lace in the sleeves like that. Now, I've mentioned this designer before because a lot of her patterns are free, which is incredible to me because she has a bunch of gorgeous tops. If you hear something snoring, it's my cat. He's laying nearby. Okay, so this is the Magnolia Petal tee. This designer is the same designer that made the sweater in a box pattern, and so far I've loved that pattern. So whenever I saw this, see, I've been noticing lace designs lately, and you guys, I'm putting pictures up above this so that you can see the design better, because I know the black and white pictures are not doing it justice. But this is a lace pattern, and it's knit and fingering as well, and it says there's a 15% off coupon code on the Ravelry page, and it's valid until July 15th. And it's only July 7th now, so if you're interested, you can check that out. It is $8.68 or $6.50 British, £6.50. So let's see what you need for this. It says that your needle size is going to range between 4 and 3.25. I'm sure for the different stitch patterns. And then it wants between 689 and 2,200 yards. Oh, there are many different versions of this pattern as well. Some of them, this white version is more cropped, and then you can see the other ones go down farther. I know that if I knit this, I would most definitely not knit it as cropped. It says the length of the sweater is easy to customize. You can make the body longer or shorter by working more or fewer pattern repeats. The pattern has 3 sleeve length options: sleeveless, short sleeves, and long sleeves, and 2 finishing options: twisted rib or garter edge. The lace pattern is presented in both chart and written format. So it says that the suggested yarn is Miss Babs Yummy 2-ply, Malabrigo sock, Malabrigo yarn arroyo, and then some others that I don't want to try to pronounce because I will no doubt murder the pronunciation on them. But I thought that this would be kind of a neat. So earlier, whenever summer started, I mentioned that I barely had any summer or spring garments or anything that would be good to wear whenever it was more than like 70 degrees. So this would be one of those. Okay, this is the last one I'm gonna show because this one makes me think that this is kind of what I should use my rainbow mini skeins on. And it is a cowl. It is called the Snicklefritz Cowl by Meyer. So okay, let me show you the pictures first. And I really think that just the stitch pattern's cute. It says, need to swatch for your Snicklefritz sweater, but want it to have a purpose. So apparently there's a sweater somewhere, and I'm wondering if the sweater looks like this cowl, because I would love to make the sweater if it does, because I really think that stitch pattern's cute. But the pattern is free, and I ran across this, I think, I think it was last night, because I was looking through the patterns again. I tend to do that before I go to bed. It uses fingering weight yarn, and it says it comes in 4 different sizes. I would love to make this as like a super long, like a long cowl that you can wrap around a couple of times. It says, it also looks like it has a DK weight. This cowl is available in 4 lengths and 2 yarn weights for optimum sandbox space. And hey, if you're making another Snicklefritz pattern next, why not test out your color combo? We're all for working smarter, not harder here. Let's work happier on top of it. So it looks like the cowl circumference can be between 20 and 32 inches. And then the width is 10 inches. So that's pretty cool. The fingering weight version uses between 325 and 520 yards. And it says you may or may not use all this depending on how many color or contrasting colors you have, because that's the main color. But I think that would be really pretty with like a cream and then the rainbow yarns that I have. It would be much more fun to make it into a sweater though. So I'm going to keep a lookout. I went to this person's, I went to Meyer's Ravelry store, and then they had, for more information, click this link below. And I went there and it looked like their website. And I did not see the sweater pattern that they were talking about. So I'm hoping I see that soon, because it definitely caught my eye. And working up a cowl is an ingenious way to swatch for something, because I do swatch, and I will swatch for things like test knits. A lot of the times I will use basically the same types of yarns, just the fingering weight 75-25, and there's not that much leeway between, especially if they're the same base. Okay, so I think that's it. That's it for this week. I am super happy that you guys came. Thank you so much. I hope that you had a couple of minutes of knitting time, and if you're in the US, I hope that you had an awesome 4th of July or Canada Day if you're in Canada. I hope that everything has been going great for you. If you're interested, I'm going to spend 5 minutes just to give like this bit of an update on my life. But if not, thank you so much for coming, and I hope that I see you guys next week. Okay, so for an update on life, and this will be super, super short because not much is going on, we are trying to plan another smaller vacation because my in-laws are coming up, and the kids will really want to spend tons of time with them, and I know they're super excited. We're all really excited. It's been a long time since we've seen them, so hopefully we can go back up to the water park and I can sit outside in the sun, because let me tell you, I had so much fun just knitting and watching them play in the pool. Let me think here. I had my second opinion appointment earlier this week, I believe on July 2nd, And the doctor told me that he recommended that we just leave everything as it is, that there wasn't any risk to keeping things exactly how they were, that he, looking at my MRIs, he suspected that it was more of a seroma even than spinal fluid, which basically is just blood pooling under the skin from a surgery. So we've decided just to leave everything as it is. The only thing he mentioned was if the spinal fluid ever starts to leak, like actually leak from the skin, then that would be a surgery. And there's no choice in the matter then. But he said that there's no risk. If I were to have a hip replacement surgery later next year, that there's not, I mean, every surgery has risks, but there's not going to be any more risk because of what's been going on with my back. So that is good, and I'm grateful for that. And that's pretty much it all this week. I've had 2 days, I had Thursday and Friday off, and that made me super happy. And I got a lot of knitting done. And that's all. That's pretty much it here. I've been reading You Like It Darker, the new Stephen King collection of short stories. I read The Shining, which was very disturbing. I've never seen the movie, and I read the book, and I realized how many issues the people in the book had as I read through it. So Stephen King can definitely write some characters. That's all that I'll say about that. You Like It Darker has been a good book. He has the ability to write stories and make you interested in how they end. Okay, so other than that, nothing else is going on. I had 2 days off of work, and I was super happy to be able to get some knitting done and hang out with the kids, and that's it. I hope that you guys are having an awesome Sunday. And don't forget, if you're interested, please leave a comment down below with either a pattern I mentioned or just a pattern that you want to share with everybody to be entered in the next pattern giveaway. And next week I will draw names, and then we'll go from there. So if I drew your name in this podcast, please reach out to me either on Instagram as mandyvaughnknits or Ravelry as mandyvaughnknits, and let me know what pattern you want. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks. Bye.